Why does it seem like everyone knows their purpose and have their crap together when you can't even sleep early? What do others know that you don't? And I just want to say to you that there's nothing wrong with you. You aren't broken, you aren't a failure. You just don't have the necessary tools to understand purpose. And that's what this video is going to be about. It will be about helping you figuring out your purpose in life. So before anything, what is purpose exactly and why do we want it? If you are watching this, I'm sure you realize by now the limits of physical sensations. You eat, you drink, you have fun, and you spend time with friends, but you always end up in the same place, depressed and lazy, because everything seems so pointless. And you have this itch in the back of your head that's telling you that there should be more to life, that there's something you are forgetting about. But you also know that if you don't answer this, you will just keep sinking deeper and deeper and you'll stop trying forever. And this isn't a disease, it's your survival instinct to save energy. So you want the sum of all your actions to result in one single history, just so you live with the least amount of wasted energy. And if there isn't a direction, then there's no motivation to invest energy, because it's a lost cause. And that's why you need life to have meaning. And you can absolutely keep living without purpose, but you won't be happy. You'll just be surviving. You know the cycle. People who are happy until the next problem happens. And then it's the why me story all over again. And we want better and happier and more meaningful experiences. But still, purpose is something that's too broad, too abstract, too personal to understand. So instead of waiting for it to hit you in the face, we will build a net of 4 points to catch it. First point is, consistency is key to find purpose. So your life purpose is something that's very long time-wise, right? So how can you even imagine your next 20, 30 years of your life if you haven't done something for 5 years? You can't, right? There's no point of reference. And that's why there's a minimum legal age limit. It's to avoid making decisions that you don't understand yet. And it's the same with purpose. You can't decide on something if you can't understand the weight of it. That's why exercising, cleaning, reading matters. There are points of reference that allow you to see farther. If you can run a mile, then 5 miles is possible. Same with purpose. You will only get it until you walk up to some point, until you accumulated enough experience that you can say, okay, I'm fine with this and that. And without consistency, it's just pure faith, which is bananas, because it's not really a method. You only know that your purpose is right if it's applicable to everybody. The second point is that purpose is about growth. So to keep building around the previous 2 points, you want your purpose to push you into becoming faster, better, smarter, more powerful, because that's how you calm the anxiety that comes from your survival instinct. The stronger you are, the safer you become. But also, the longer you train, the farther you can see, allowing you to gain more choices that you can make. And that's why purpose is never found in comfort, because no physical emotion goes beyond what you feel. And your own body understands how limiting this is, how pleasure makes you stay in the same condition, in the same place, knowing the same things. And from your survival instinct point of view, this is just waiting to be attacked. So purpose has to be something that continuously pushes your limits. It has to be an ever-growing story. So the third point is, the goal of purpose is always other people. The reason why you seek purpose is because you want to find your place in society. That's why it's important to understand that the goal of purpose is always to help other people. Now, it can either be directly or indirectly, but the goal is always to improve other people's lives. And if you disagree, then that means you have some traumas to deal with. Purpose is about future, not past, and humans are social creatures. It's natural to yearn for others and want to be useful to others. It's a survival mechanism. So stop being a result of your pain and start being a result of your ambition. People oversimplify depression, do more of this or that, but that's just avoiding depression. It's still running away, like addictions, and we want to solve it. But depression is more than just one thing. It's how you start relationships, how you deal with pain, how you cope. And that's why I wrote this. And it's free. Check the link in bio. Just help me by subscribing and sharing. And the last point is the most important one. Purpose is about accepting losses and problems into your life. The reason why it's so difficult to know your purpose is because you are afraid of making the wrong choice and turning your life into a disaster. And that's completely justified. You aren't a card, you are logical. But no one goes into this knowing what will happen. Those motivational stories that tell you that they knew from the start are all lies. I assure you, plenty of them pee their pants. And that's the test to know your purpose. That's when you know your purpose. You see, purpose isn't about greatness or how much impact you will have. It's about accepting your choices, even if things don't go your way. It's about making the choices that make you happy no matter the cost. Like there's plenty of doctors out there who could be successful and yet they chose to go help less fortunate people and they live in much worse conditions for those choices. And this isn't about virtue or being reckless, it's the opposite. It's about them knowing fully that if they chose the other life, they would be miserable. Despite the nicer houses, the cars, the pay. It's about survival. Because you can't live your whole life denying your true self. You have to learn to accept yourself and the consequences that come with it. Making it work despite the difficulties, it's a job, it's not a cross. And your fantasy of never losing is what is keeping you away from your purpose. Truth is, you already know what you want to do with your life. You just don't like the price of it. And no matter how much you try to convince yourself that there's another way, you keep coming back to the feeling of emptiness. Purpose is about learning to accept the cost of your happiness. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is thinking that our happiness is something that can be shoved aside for later, that happiness is a choice. It's not. And that's what that itch is in the back of your head. It's a part that knows that you can be so much better. I love solving difficult problems. If the path to your purpose is hard, then comment down below and let's solve it. But let's stop fooling ourselves that our happiness isn't important. That making money and looking right, it's more important. It's not. People don't care that much about you. The question is, do you care about your happiness?